He thought he was just being kind. A simple ride home for a lost girl on the side of the road. Nothing unusual. But the next morning, as he sat with his coffee and turned on the TV, his heart dropped. Her face was all over the news, and what he heard next made his blood run cold. It was the end of a long workday, and Dennis was finally heading home. His job was far from where he lived, but he didn't mind the drive. It gave him time to unwind, listen to his favorite songs, and clear his head. Traffic was heavy, everyone rushing home like him. But as he cruised down the road, something caught his eye. A girl was standing near the shoulder, thumb raised, trying to hitch a ride. Hitchhikers weren't new to Dennis. He'd passed plenty without a second thought, but this time felt different. Maybe it was because she looked so young, or because car after car just kept speeding by. He hesitated, then pulled over a few feet ahead. The girl approached his car slowly, glancing through the windows before stepping closer. She explained that she needed to get home and said he could drop her at the train station. She could get the rest of the way from there. Coincidentally, the station wasn't far from Dennis's usual route, so he agreed. She climbed in without much of a word. Dennis introduced himself and asked her name. "Harper," she said quietly. He tried to make small talk, but she barely responded. Short answers, no questions in return. She just stared at her phone, scrolling endlessly. It surprised Dennis. He always assumed hitchhikers would be chatty, grateful even. Harper didn't seem interested at all. Still, he kept driving. The silence in the car was thick. He tried to ignore how odd it all felt. When they finally reached the train station, Harper gave a quick nod and opened the door. Before Dennis could say anything else, she stepped out and slammed it shut behind her. No goodbye. No thank you. Dennis sat there for a moment, stunned by her sudden departure. Then he started the engine and drove home, trying to shake the weird feeling the whole ride had left him with. Something didn't sit right. As he pulled into his driveway, something on the passenger side caught his attention. Her phone. She had left it behind. The same phone she hadn't taken her eyes off the entire ride. Without hesitation, Dennis turned the car around and headed straight back to the station, hoping she hadn't boarded a train yet. It was the city's central station, big, crowded, full of platforms and shops. He searched everywhere, walking quickly, eyes scanning every face, but there was no sign of her. After what felt like forever, Dennis stopped in the main hall, frustrated and out of breath. She was gone. There was only one thing left to do. He'd bring the phone to the police the next morning. But that night, his thoughts kept circling back to Harper. Why was she so cold? Why was she so glued to her phone? And how could she forget it? None of it made sense. The next morning, he got up, made breakfast, and turned on the TV to distract himself. As he flipped through channels, he landed on the morning news. What he saw next made his skin crawl. There she was, Harper, her face on the screen. The news anchor reported that a teenage girl had run away from home. Her parents were desperate for answers. She was last seen the day before, near the city's central train station. Dennis stared at the screen, frozen. The girl he picked up, the girl he tried to help, the girl who barely said a word. She wasn't just a hitchhiker, she was a missing person. And now everything he thought he knew was about to be turned upside down. Confused by what he saw and heard, Dennis sat frozen, replaying the news in his head. The girl had told him she was on her way home, but now it was clear. She had lied. Slowly the pieces fell into place. Her strange behavior, the coldness, the silence. It all made sense now. His instincts had been trying to warn him from the start, but he hadn't listened. He began to feel something else. Guilt. Was this his fault? Was he the last person who could have truly done something to help her? Pacing the room, his thoughts spiraled. All I did was help her get away, he muttered, furious with himself. And in the middle of this mental storm, he saw it. Her phone. It was still sitting on the table where he had left it the night before. Last night, when he got home, he'd charged the phone, thinking he might return it. Now he looked at it differently. Maybe it held a clue. He picked it up, turned it on. It was still locked, but notifications were coming through. That's when he saw it. One message still visible on the lock screen. "You should come to me. I know where to find you." Dennis's heart stopped. That message didn't sound like something from a worried parent. It sounded like a threat. His mind raced. Harper wasn't just running away. She was hiding from someone. He had to find her before they did. He jumped into his car and rushed back to the train station, the last place he'd seen her. It was a long shot, but maybe she had come back looking for her phone. The station was busy, crowded like the day before. He searched desperately, scanning every face. Nothing. Then a hand touched his shoulder. He turned. It was her, Harper. Relief flooded through him. He smiled, but the look on her face erased that joy. She looked terrified, worse than before. She hadn't said anything yet, just stood there, frozen. Dennis gently asked what was going on, but she didn't answer. Her eyes scanned the area nervously. "Do you have my phone?" she finally asked, trying to sound calm. Dennis had forgotten all about it in the moment. He pulled it from his pocket and handed it to her. She snatched it quickly, and as she looked at the screen, a tiny smile appeared, just for a second. Then, without a word, she turned and began to walk away. But Dennis didn't let her. He gently grabbed her arm. "What's going on?" he asked again, firmer now, but still careful not to scare her. She looked up at him, unsure, then finally gave a small nod and gestured for him to follow her. They walked to a quieter corner of the platform. There, Harper finally opened up. She explained that her uncle had been staying at her house. Late one night, she went downstairs to get a drink and saw him breaking into her parents' safe. She recorded everything on her phone. She was about to call her parents when he saw her. She ran upstairs, locked herself in her room, and that's when the threats began. He messaged her, warning her not to call the police. If she did, he said he would hurt her parents, so she ran, hoping to protect them. But now, he was after her. Dennis listened, speechless. He couldn't believe what she had gone through. No one should be forced to deal with something like that, especially a child. He told her he would help. She wasn't alone anymore. Now came the hard part, going to the police. Harper hesitated, afraid of what her uncle might do if they went. But Dennis reassured her. They had evidence. If they acted fast, the police could catch him before anything happened. She agreed. They hurried toward his car. But just as they reached it, Harper let out a terrified yelp. "That's my uncle," she cried, pointing to a man approaching them. Dennis immediately opened the car door and got her inside. As they pulled out of the parking lot, he noticed a car following them. It was him. Dennis's heart pounded as he sped through the streets, trying to lose the tail. They raced toward the police station, taking sharp turns and pushing the car to its limits. When they arrived, Dennis didn't bother with a parking spot. He drove straight onto the sidewalk in front of the station. Officers rushed over, demanding he move the car. But before Dennis could say a word, Harper jumped out and screamed, pointing to the car behind them. "That's him! That's my uncle!" The officers were caught off guard. 2 cars on the sidewalk, a panicked girl screaming. It was chaos. Unsure of what was happening, they detained both Dennis and the man following them until the truth came out. Once inside the station, Harper showed them the video she had taken. Everything became clear. The police immediately arrested the uncle for theft and threats. Dennis was released and, along with the officers, took Harper home. Her parents were in shock, overwhelmed with emotion and relief. Their daughter was safe. The truth was finally out. They didn't know how to thank Dennis. But he didn't need thanks. Just knowing Harper was safe was enough. And though he'd blamed himself at first, Dennis now understood. He didn't fail her. In the end, he had done the right thing.